The business edition of 21 Minutes with KKB is proudly brought to you by
MTN Business Broadband.
First National Bank, Bank of the Changeables.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of 21 Minutes with KKB, the business edition. My name is Kwabna Chenchehinibuati. Today I'm very, very excited coming your way because I have a certain gentleman next to me and his story, it will surprise you. It will touch you in a lot of ways than you can even imagine. Here is a gentleman who happened to go through school, get the best of education, but for some strange reason, after securing a job at a bank, decides that no, I want to quit the corporate world and go into farming. A rather interesting tale, right? Yeah. Well, I have more with the Chief Executive Officer of Asili Coffee and Purveyors Limited, John Francois, after this break.
When we connect, everything is possible. Whatever seems unreachable becomes even closer. Building partnerships. Redefining the norms. Because when we connect, being there becomes possible. And new ideas come to life. Stay ahead and stay connected with MTN Business Broadband. Superior internet solutions that drive your dreams. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
Many thanks for staying with us right here on the business edition of 21 Minutes with KKB. Like I said, this show is proudly brought to you by MTN Business, and MTN Business is your partner for good. And for the several of you watching right now, for those of you who own micro, small, and medium scale businesses, well, MTN Business has something good for you. It's called the SME Plus. Now, this is something you need to understand. Now, the service simply allows you to choose from affordable packages and enjoy talk time, SMS data, and business content all bundled in one subscription. Now, the other exciting news is that you get free on-net calls every Monday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. All you have to do is to simply dial *5060# to sign up today. Also, you can WhatsApp or call the number 0244 308 111 for more information and stay connected everywhere you go. It is also brought to you in partnership with First National Bank. Now, First National Bank is offering businesses, both big and small, an opportunity to switch and enjoy 0 monthly account fee with any of their business check accounts. Now, 3 months fee free banking anytime you open a business check account between now and September 2022. This makes business sense, right? Of course it does. Now, the impossible just got bigger and better with First National Bank. Bank of the Changeables. One small change, remember, can make a huge difference. All you have to do is to visit any of your branches in Accra, Kumasi, or Takoradi, or call 0242 435 050, and we'll send one of our friendly business bankers to you to start the switch process. First National Bank. Now, how can we help you? We are coming to you live from Selassie Bar and Grill at Nmajo. Of course, to the interview. And my guest is none other than the Chief Executive Officer of Asili Coffee Purveyors Limited, John Francois. John, good day. How are you doing?
Very well.
It's good to see you. It's been a long time.
It has.
With the beard and everything.
Yeah.
You're a big man. So in my intro, I mentioned that you have a very interesting story. And for a lot of people, hearing such a thing is very inspiring. But of course, before we come to that, tell us a bit about yourself. Who is John Francois?
John is Ghanaian born and bred. I'm just your average guy who has a goal, I would like to say. I wasn't born with one. It was one that I acquired as time went on. It's just sometimes life speaks to you, you know, and then you sort of gain some clarity. Went to school here. Of course, I went to university and then came back down, went into finance like most people try to do. It's one of the clear-cut routes. I wasn't satisfied. I didn't feel like there was enough of an impact from my daily activities. So I looked elsewhere.
And the rest is Asili.
Yeah, exactly.
Asili history.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You're making history, but back to the fact that so essentially you got the best of education. You managed to go into a field a lot of people clamor for. A lot of young people really want to go into. You were a banker, right?
Yeah, I was.
So you went into the bank. You were doing such a good job. You were getting paid well, I suppose. Why then would you want to risk all of that and say, no, I don't want to do banking, I want to do farming?
Okay, so it's as I said. I'm working in the bank. It's excellent environment. The prospects are there. It's very secure. Or, I mean, as secure as employment can be nowadays, anyway. But there's something missing, you know, and more often we're young, so something speaks to you, you know, and you know that this is a period where you can take certain risks, you know. So if indeed you want to explore what it is that you can truly become, this is the time that you execute such a transfer. Okay, so I'm born and bred Ghanaian. My dad is actually half St. Lucian and half from Akuapem, and my mom is from Akuapem.
Okay.
So I have an affinity with the Akuapem area. Right. So on journeys there, I look at the our area, and I feel like, okay, look, let me contribute my own quota to my community as well. So when you look around, you see that there's vast fertile land, right? So then it's almost it clicks immediately that maybe agriculture is something that this area can support, right? Of course, I'm not saying that I was there to resolve any issues, but just to contribute to my quota, right. That is as an indigene, right? So I thought, look, I drink a lot of coffee, right? Like, I mean, most bankers do, right? And I thought, look, maybe I can go into this, because my grandfather on my mother's side, J.S. Martinson, he was, I believe, he was an MC, I think, back in the day. It was called a mayor or something. And he also planted coffee, actually, in an area called Ahabanting. It's close to the Konko area in Akuapem as well. So I was like, oh, maybe I can try this, you know. So I decided, look, let me bite the bullet and try and establish something in my hometown. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So it makes perfect sense why you decided to go into coffee then, but if you were looking at commercializing such a product, one would say, why not consider, say, cocoa? Or any other thing?
Right. Okay, so so in terms of trends, right? When you look at the global coffee consumption, right? You look at the coffee industry is a juggernaut, right? It's massive, and the barriers to entry as compared to cocoa are lower. So you think about it in the sense that if I grow my coffee now, right, I need to add value, you know, so I can produce products like these. Yes, it's still very expensive to go into commercial and processing, but it's much less expensive than going into processing chocolate, which is a heavy-duty industry. So ultimately, commercializing coffee and being able to export and tap into the global coffee flow, or say, yes, coffee business, coffee industry, it was the barriers were just much lower for me. So I thought I'd go into that.
So if I get you correctly, you were looking at going into, yes, of course, producing coffee, but not just limiting yourself to the beans, like a lot of the ordinary farmers do. You were looking at processing it,
yes,
and then getting much more value from it, and then exporting and making some.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I can imagine that must be a lot of investment.
Yes.
A lot of ambition, because ordinarily, if you did enough and just sold it, you still make some money.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
But
yes.
Beginning to look beyond the norm and trying to look at processing, like I said, I think that must have been a very bold thing. Could money have been the only motivating factor when you were considering that extra layer in the production process?
Not at all, actually. So, truthfully, as I said, I consider myself a bit of a social entrepreneur.
Okay.
So the issue was I'm going back to contribute to my quota, right? Just producing raw green beans, it's not enough, right? What it is that we want. Do you mind? Can I touch this?
Oh, sure.
Okay. So what it is that we want to. It's to serve more as hope, you know.
Right.
That yes, an average guy like me can come in and produce something that can compete on the global stage, because we export this.
Right.
This is already in the US.
Right.
And so it's an impact that goes, in my opinion, beyond. Yes, because then people are like, oh, you know what? If this guy can do it as well, then so can we, right? Because I don't think I was the best student in school. I mean, other people look and think, look, I can do this as well, you know. So it's more of it's like a little symbol, you know, that you plant in your community, you know, an ideal, you know, an idea. You know that, and we know ideas are very powerful as well. Actually, yes. So that was majorly why we went into processing. You know, and also, of course, because we make larger margins processing, we can pay the farmers better for their produce. Because if we are selling it raw produce, the margins that you make on trading, general trade, are very small. So then you are unable. You even try and barter down with the farmers. But when you're producing stuff like this, right? You're making, I mean, fair, yes, quite a margin. Then you can afford to pay your brothers a little bit more as well, so that they can also move from there.
I see. Okay. You're still watching the business edition of 21 Minutes with KKB. We're taking a break now. When we come back, we delve into the Asili story. He'll take us through why that name even, Asili. What does it even mean? I don't know. But for you coffee lovers also, if you haven't seen this in a shop nearby, I think you should find a way to find some, because it's amazing. I'm going to try one on set, and I think you should too if you have one close to you. But that'll be after this break.
When we connect, everything is possible. Whatever seems unreachable becomes even closer. Building partnerships. Redefining the norms. Because when we connect, being there becomes possible. And new ideas come to life. Stay ahead and stay connected with MTN Business Broadband. Superior internet solutions that drive your dreams. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
You're welcome back. And like I said, today we are talking coffee, and we are dealing with the CEO of, my coffee is ready. Aha. So the CEO of Asili Coffee, John Francois, is the gentleman today we are speaking to. Today he's managed to bring us some of the samples so that we can try out and get to tell that story, the Asili story. And I'm sure it's a story not many of you are very familiar with. So this is a very good opportunity for you to get to know much more about it. So while he answers that question, I'll be taking a sip. So, John, tell us really, the name Asili and the like, we'll come to that in a short while, but I saw you take this from a bag. Usually I don't see coffee in a bag, so why coffee in a tea bag?
Oh, right.
Right.
Okay, so when we initially invested into
That's good.
Yeah?
That's very good.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. So what it is look, Africa is the final frontier, right? And would it not be beautiful if we grow, process, and consume our own?
Of course.
Now, in order to facilitate this, we need to understand certain things.
Right.
This, as I said, we export, right? So this is doing well in the United States, right? It's doing well. But that's because they have the structures or the equipment to be able to brew coffee like this. This is actually even whole beans, so it's in a roasted bean form, right? So they mainly go to restaurants. Now, we want our brothers and sisters all over Accra to be able to have coffee, premium coffee that they don't need to go into a hotel or a restaurant to have, right? So we are democratizing access to quality. You see, and in order to achieve this, what we've done is we simply ground the coffee into a powdered form, and then we use a filter bag, which is in your cup, right? So that way, what it is that we get the exact dose that you need, and you don't need any machine to prepare it. As they say, all you need is hot water.
All you need is Yohianis we share. No, but this is really good. This is really good. Okay, now tell us about Asili. Why the name Asili?
Okay, so Asili actually has it's a root word. It has a lot of meanings in different languages. I believe Asili in Swahili means origin or native, right? Asil in Arabic means authentic, or again original. I learned in Urdu as well. It means indigenous. I think even Hausa has a similar asali, I think. Okay. So basically, all in all, it's just a word that means original, or from home, indigenous, So it's a word that resonated with me because it was a project that was engaged in from home. Right. Of course, we stretched all the way into Greater Accra, etc., but ultimately the idea was sparked from home.
I see. Yes. But prior to going into this, did you have any knowledge in farming or coffee production?
Actually, I was just a consumer, like everybody else. I had to learn on the job, which is something that I encourage a lot of people to do. Just because you don't have a general background in something doesn't mean that you can't actually teach yourself. Right. There are a lot of resources nowadays, online, free courses, even some of our friends who have studied and are now tutoring others as well, right. So I think it's something that we need to look at, self-learning. So my background, as I said, was in finance. So I only understood the in money, out money, the flow. Yeah. But in terms of farming and even manufacturing, all of this I had to learn as I was going along.
Well, look at your packaging. And to be honest with you, before this interview, I managed to pass through a few shops at airports and the like, just to see if some of your products were even available. And yes, a number of them were there. Yeah. And I saw people patronizing them. I actually got some colleagues of mine I was with also got some. They have actually been taking a lot more of your products than I have. Wow. They know themselves. I'm sure they are smiling. But looking at the packaging alone even, it tells me a lot has gone into it. Some say for a lot of African products, some of the biggest challenges we have is quality and then packaging. How have you managed to get it so right? Because the quality is good. I just tasted it. And as you can see, the packaging is awesome. So how have you managed it?
I would love to say there's an easy way to get things right, but nobody, well, maybe some people have, but you really get things right on the first try. Right. With the packaging, I worked with some very good designers. Right. But even as it is now, there's still a few things that we're going to be correcting as time goes on. I would say if you want to avoid rudimentary errors, you need to find some of your colleagues who are already, that is if you don't have the budget, you need to find some of your colleagues who are already in design or in media, and they can help you out. You also need to look at the people and what it is that they find attractive, and then you work from there. With the Asili Premium, that's the initial packaging that we had, because this was launched first and then this came in too. Okay. We had to really go all out because we had a point to prove. Because if we are saying that indeed world-class products can be manufactured in Akuapem or in somewhere in Akuapem, for example, right? We need to be able to walk the talk, So we produce something that can leave the shores of Ghana, that can be procured, people vote for your product with their money, So if it successfully left the shores, then it's a winner, So we needed to go all out from the onset. Yes, yes.
All of this will boil down to even cost, I believe. So your cost of production vis-a-vis selling and making something small on it so you can share with the people of Akuapem who work so hard to get these premium beans out. How is that also like really cost of production? A young guy like you putting in so much effort, so much money, investing in this, how are you even able to break even? Should I put it that way?
You need to prove certain things to people. You know, you need to engage in market research. You need to lay out a proper plan, because I mean, nobody's going to just give you free money just like that, right? Well, there are some people who have this privilege, but I'm talking about across board on the average. So I had to put together a proper plan, and then I managed to get some seed capital. This was within our family ranks. From there, you know, we introduced coffee into the Akuapem area. So we cannot, how do I say, we cannot practically inform every single farmer or provide the necessary inputs for them to plant. So what we did is we leaned on some initiatives that are currently happening, right? And we managed to get some seedlings to the Akuapem area. But in order to get the seedlings to come to the Akuapem area, we needed to put the factory up first, you know, because then government looks at the
factories, and then we find a way to
exactly. Then they provide, inputs in terms of seedlings for people to plant. So then, of course, we also as promoters have to go around in the various areas. So we've gone from all the way from Pokrom to Tinkong, all the way to Aprede. Just telling people, look, you can plant some coffee. When it's ready, we'll come and buy it from you, we'll process it. You know, so this, of course, is also a function of money. We set up the Akuapem Coffee Growers Association, right, which is a consolidation of all the actors in the value chain in the Akuapem area. And this is for them, it serves sort of as a communication point, you know, to serve as for the stakeholder group, you know, so that they can directly liaise with government as well. And after setting it up, of course, I have taken a step back, because if not, it's almost a conflict of interest. Yes, so that was set up so they can be protected even from me, right? So yes, because you know, I'm from there, so if I mess up there, I have nowhere to run.
That's true.
You know, so certain checks and balances must always be in place. But yeah, so across board, we managed to lean, as you can see, on certain initiatives, as well as certain structures that are already there, you know, in order to push the agenda.
See, very, very interesting conversation so far, and we'll be delving some more into the funding bit of your business. You've told us that you got a chunk of the support at the initial stages from within your family ranks. Yes. We'll go a bit more into that in a short while. But you're still watching the business edition of 21 Minutes with KKB. Here with the Chief Executive Officer of Achimota Coffee Purveyors Limited, John Francois. He's done some very nice coffee for me. So while I take some more sips here, you should also perhaps grab a cup of coffee and take a few sips. And join us in a short while, because when we return, he will tell us how he managed to convince a former president of the land to visit his facility. Stay with us. Right, so you're welcome back. We went for that very quick break. It was a coffee break, and so we are back now with John Francois, the Chief Executive Officer for Achimota Coffee Purveyors Limited. Francois, you're telling us about getting the needed funding when you were starting up this company, and the fact that you managed to get some support from family.
Yes.
Oftentimes, people say getting the funds is the biggest challenge. Is that really the case?
Especially for a startup.
Right.
You have zero track record. I mean, think about it. Who are you to come for money?
Right.
You get my point.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, I decided I want to sell socks. Have I ever sold socks before? Never. You know, do I even know where to get the socks from? No. And yet you want someone to
believe in you.
Exactly.
And give you so much.
A gamble.
Right.
It's a gamble. It's not even an investment. It's a gamble. Right. So at the startup stage, there's always that issue, which is why it's advisable for you to at least start something bootstrap. You know, so if you are working, you can do it on
So how did you start yours?
So if I tell you that this was actually in one room, you'd be surprised. It's garage.
I see.
Yeah. So literally in one room with one grinder, one sealer. That's it. And this. Yeah, and packaging. That's literally how we started.
I see. Since you scaled up a bit, have you gotten some more support?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Tell us
I
about
have.
that process also.
Okay. So actually, I will let you know. This was key. It's called the OCIF.
Okay.
That's the Orange Corners Initiative Fund. It's pushed by the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Ghana, right? And they're looking for young entrepreneurs who are at, seed to early stage, I believe, or early stage. I think I'll need to clarify that. Okay. But they're looking to support people who can, who have good ideas, and it's good. So they were key for me because. Initially, after introducing this and realizing the shortcomings in terms of our people, that's Africans actually consuming what it is that we produce, or as we say on our box, every African drinking African coffee. I believe it's yes, every African drinking African coffee. But the problem is, not every African has a coffee machine or a coffee brewer, right?
That's a good one. But because we had spoken about presidents and former presidents and the like and I had promised our viewers that we were going to find out from him how he managed to get a former president on his side, some way, somehow. Former President John Agyekum Kufuor seems to be a big fan of yours. How so? How is that the case?
Okay, so His Excellency is... someone who a lot of people don't know, but he has a relatively open door policy. Yes. He's someone you can go to for mentorship. He loves when the younger generation are attempting to do things, So he's someone that when I was thinking about going into something like this, because as I've just explained to you, we have stakeholders who are public institutions, foreign diplomatic institutions, etc. So knowing this, it's a no-brainer that you go to someone who has such vast experience, and people like this, a few sentences here and there cuts 5 to 10 years off your learning curve, because you tap into that experience. So for that, I went humbly to request that I've managed to execute what it was that I wanted to. So if he would grace us with his presence, which he thankfully did.
I see. That's very commendable. So aside everything, you found it necessary to find someone who had the requisite experience to sort of mentor you. Is that the case?
Yes, indeed. And just to let other young entrepreneurs know, mentorship is key. You need to speak with people who have experience in certain sectors. It can be anybody. It can be your father, it can be your mother, it can be your uncle, your brother, your sister. It could be me. It could be Chen, of course. Look, anyone who is looking to go into journalism, look for this man. So it's like you're building an ecosystem. Where free information. I'm borrowing this term from a good friend of mine. Where free information flows, and effectively what happens is that people are able to develop more rapidly. Because effectively they're sharing one experience pool and cutting out certain marginal errors that would have delayed maybe certain results by years. So it's necessary. It's I advise it.
I see. So that's one advice you've given. What kind of advice would you add to that for anyone seeking to go into any of these? In fact, for anyone seeking to do something as bold as what you did, quit your job and go into something like this, what would be your advice in addition to what you already said?
It's you need to be prepared. You need to be very prepared mentally. You need to be prepared.
It's a tough one. It's a tough call.
Extremely tough, and also it depends on your own socioeconomic. Your own economic situation as well. Perhaps I would advise you stay in your job whilst you are working on your plans. and then build gradually. Because I mean, everybody is always criticizing 9-to-5 jobs, but there's nothing wrong with a 9-to-5.
Right.
A 9-to-5 job is a great way to build your war chest, to then invest in something that is of your own desire. You know, so maybe you can keep working in your 9-to-5 and then building gradually, so that there's the necessary cash flow to serve as upkeep for yourself and for your family. I would then advise that you will get to a tipping point where it's basically like a Y junction. Now, if you stick to your 9-to-5, there's an opportunity cost, because you can use that time to build your business. Now, this Y junction usually occurs when there's your business is also maybe about 50 to 60% of your monthly salary. Your business can cover this. So that's where maybe you need to, well, this is my opinion, of course. Nobody can take this as Bible. You take the leap.
So you essentially have to decide when you get to that point.
Yes, but
The decision is difficult also because your standard of living will have to be reduced drastically, you know, and then you will need support from others as well. And so that's more in terms of financial planning. It's very necessary. In terms of mental, you need to psych yourself up for a while, because the problem with not just innovation or even just striking out on your own is that usually humans are communal. You know, we need positive feedback from our loved ones, etc., to reassure us that we're on the right paths in life, etc. You need to break that. You know, basically opinions, water off a duck's back, because the moment you're rattled internally by external shocks, right? It may be over before you even begin. Yes, you need to be able to steel yourself. Yes, so because you'll hear opinions. Some people don't like our packaging. I hear all sorts of things all the time, you know. And then there's even what's more perhaps painful for some entrepreneurs, where you suffer the initial abuse, where it's like, oh, you understand.
Francois, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
I'm really grateful you took time off to come tell us much more about the Asili story. I know you go places. It's just the start. You know, John Francois is Chief Executive Officer for Asili Coffee. In fact, you did hear you say quite a lot about the brand, and like I said, I've tried it. It's fantastic. You would want to really try it if you haven't. Today, we managed to bring you this shoot from Selassie Bar and Grill at Majo at Ashani Butche. Again, if you want some amazing meals, you should definitely come through one of these days at Selassie Bar and Grill. They have some amazing meals. You would really enjoy it, and they have a very serene atmosphere, and you would love every bit of it. Of course, the show was proudly brought to you by MTN Business, and MTN Business, as you already know, is your partner for growth. And so there's good news for small to medium scale business owners. Now with SME Plus, what you get is that you're able to manage all your operational costs in communication. The service is very simple. And what it does is it allows you to choose from affordable packages and enjoy talk time, SMS, data, and business content, all bundled in one subscription. The other exciting news is that you get free on-net calls. So, Francois here can call his coffee makers or producers or farmers. He can call them from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every Monday for free. He doesn't have to pay at night. So if I were you, I'll push all of that. All our conference calls, one Monday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Once you're on MTN Business, the SME Plus.
I'm signing up.
Right? So just do that and you are good to go. The other thing you can do if you think it's such a cumbersome process is just dial star 5060 hash today and you are set to go. You can WhatsApp or call 0244 308 111 for more information and stay connected everywhere you go. It is also brought to you in partnership with First National Bank. Now, First National Bank is offering businesses, both big and small, an opportunity to switch and enjoy 0 monthly account fee with any of their business check accounts. Now, 3 months fee free banking anytime you open a business check account between now and September 2022. This makes business sense, right? Of course it does. Now, the impossible just got bigger and better with First National Bank. Bank of the changeables. One small change, remember, can make a huge difference. All you have to do is to visit any of your branches in Accra, Kumasi, or Takoradi, or call 0242 435 050 and we'll send one of our friendly business bankers to you to start the switch process. First National Bank. Now, how can we help you? My name is Kwabna Chenteni Boate. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon again, hopefully with another guest you're expecting.
The business edition of 21 Minutes with KKB was proudly brought to you by
MTN Business Broadband.
First National Bank, Bank of the Change.